everyone! These are the new launches from Tonic Studios for this month. So I want to make a 5-side multi-sided lantern. So I'm gonna die cut it 5 times using the larger die. I'm using my tangerine with the orange cutting base at the bottom, placing the die and then securing with low tack tape at one point. Placing the white plates and then just run it through my tangerine. And then just go running, and they will cut and emboss or score all the lines that I need to have a perfect side panel for my lantern box. Now you can see how beautifully it has scored all those lines, and it will be really hard work to measure them up and see where they were. They will take time. So what I'm doing now, I'm just making sure that what I call reinforcing those scoring lines. And that is because although I want to die cut it again, I want to make sure that all those lines are really well marked. If I didn't do that and run it through the machine with another die, those lines will become a little bit fainter and a little bit more difficult to see later on. Now I want to create an aperture. This set comes with several aperture verso dies that will create that beautiful intricate detail into your cards. So I'm gonna place it centered along those scoring lines and use again low tack tape. And for this one I'm gonna use 2 pieces just to make sure that it doesn't move. And again I'm gonna place the white plate on top and run it through the tangerine. A good thing with the die cutting machines is to put them as close as possible to your body, and that will help you to make sure that they don't move. And it has cut beautifully. I always check, I turn them back, and you can see all the marks that to check that it has cut all the lines. If not, you can run it through again through the machine. Obviously it depends what machine you have, but obviously Tonic dies are so beautifully, look how beautifully they have cut all that intricate detail in there. Now I'm going to put that aside, and I'm going to take the outer die for that window. I'm going to use now vellum. Vellum is this semi-translucent paper that has got that kind of very ethereal quality to it. Now I'm going to, because it has kind of a straightish line or angles, I tend to always put them at an angle through my die cutting machine. That will mean that the rollers will go at an angle and it will be much smoother and less cranking noise. Just roll it through and see how smooth that was? That helps a lot, that angled top tip. So on the inside of my lantern, I'm gonna use a little bit of the funky glue on those big areas, but see how little I'm using, and as well top, bottom corner, and very little. Now vellum is a slightly difficult product to attach, but because it shows the glue, but because this is a lantern, nobody's gonna see inside the glue. If you wanted to have this on a card, what you could do is die cut it again and place that window on top of it, so on top of the vellum, so that would disguise all those glue points in there. So I went ahead and I die cut several of them with the window. And I left some plain because here I want to show you the versatility of these dies. You can also die cut them slightly differently. You can die cut them with the outer die, and you can die cut them using, for instance, mirror board. And to be honest, you should clean your dies before you die cut something as mirror board or any of that, because if you clean the dies, and by cleaning I mean just poking all those little pieces of paper, it means that the die will cut much better. If you leave them on, the blade won't have, these will kind of, I would say, be between the paper you want to cut and the blade. So you want to put it clean in there at an angle again, more or less, and just gonna run it through with my wet plate. And I love these dies because they are so versatile. You know, you have got the window, you have got the rectangle with all that detail, but also you get I would say a pentagon for the base, or a square and a triangle. Now I like to cut my window first into the die and then place the outer die on top, secure it with 2 pieces of low-tack tape so it doesn't move, place it on my orange plate cutting base and just run it again. And once that you run it like this, it will have cut the outer edge. So you will have like a topper. Beautiful. So you have got so many varieties. You can have it like this. You can layer it on top now to have a central panel, or you could layer it on top of a solid one. It's up to you. That's what the beauty of die cutting, that you can make it as you wish. So I'm going to layer it on top of the window one, with the vellum backing. So a little bit of funky glue, place it on top. You could drop a shadow by layering a little bit, or just put it on top like so. Right, so to create the base you have got 2 choices. You have got the square, so that would create a 4-side lantern, or the pentagon. I call it a pentagon, and that will create 5 sides. But also you get a bonus, because you can have, this one wasn't designed to be a base, but it's a 3-sided triangle. Obviously a triangle is always 3-sided, but it was designed for the top, but you can actually use it as a base as well. So you have got 3 different possibilities of how many sides your box will have. So I'm going to take the same color card. Now this is a little bit tight, but I can see if I turn it over that there is no blade showing through. And that's important. Like, I like to use as much of my scraps as possible. So I tend to make sure that as long as there is no blade showing through, it will cut a perfect. Okay. Let's put it through the tangerine. And there it is, perfect. So I'm going to put it back into magnetic paper. And now I like to have the texture side always in the outside. And I like to use, for boxes, always wet glue. But when I'm demonstrating, because you don't want to be me being here holding the cards for a few minutes, so I'm using double-sided tape. This is a little bit quicker, but for a stronger bond and more durable one, you want to use a wet glue like Funky Glue Pen. And then with double-sided tape, it always takes longer to find the ends than actually glue. Now, actually attaching it. I'm going to put it in each of the flaps, the bottom and the side. You can just put it so. So take that one up. I prefer it to put the base first and then the sides, but then you will find that depending on and how you like to craft. One way will be better for you than the other. Oh, yes, that's good. Ready? And then just put it in there. And because this is going to be a decorative element, I'm going to do the two of the panels just plain, because they're going to be in a decoration at home. So this is the side that will go into the wall. What you could do as well, if you're going to put a fog candle, like a battery operated tea light or something like that, you could put a mirror card on the inside, so that will reflect the light much more, so that will in the inside panels, the ones that are solid. Like this. So now what I'm gonna do is just lift the sides of the double-sided tape and finally that one, need to put a little bit of double-sided tape in this side. That one has it. Open, so then when you unwrap it, it all falls down. And then just open it up. And then just put some ribbon through it. And now to put the ribbon, just thread it through. I'm gonna put this one a little bit on the side, on the left side, so I can have a little, and that's how you tighten it, and then you make a bow or a knot, and that's the multi-sided lantern. To make the crystal carousel box, we need the die, and you can see that comes with a lot of beautiful intricate dies that will cut apertures into your card, as well the outer die that will cut it out of the card. So we are going to cut twice using the larger die. This one will cut the box, and as I always mention, whenever I have straight lines and the straight angles, I like to put them at an angle onto the card or onto basically running through the machine. So you could put it, making sure that it's not a square to the rollers, something like that. Place it with the orange cutting plate and then on top the white one. These are wafer thin dies, so they will work in other die cutting machines. And just running through the cutting machine, and then open it up, and it has cut and has scored all the lines beautifully. Can you imagine do this by hand? I couldn't do it, but with dies, perfect dies by Tonic, all the hard work is done for you. So now if you want to create apertures in your box, now is the moment. But before doing that, you want to reinforce all the scoring lines. Those lines are perfectly created with the die, but if you run it through the machine again without reinforcing them, they will become a little bit faint, and sometimes it's hard to see them. So I have got one here and one that I did earlier, and see how I'm just reinforcing them all like so. Now I would like to use a couple of the windows in one of the side. So you have got different choices, but I'm just gonna use all three of them. So I'm placing this lovely motif on top of the side, securing it with low tag. Now if I wanted to cut it out of the box, I would use the outer die, but I don't want that. So I'm gonna just take the inside panels basically of the dies, and those ones create beautiful lace apertures into your cards, like windows. So I'm just going to secure it with low tack tape. Now because they has got a lot of intricate detail, I'm going to place them lengthways, and that will mean that it will be easier for the machine to die cut all the detail. Because I know it has got a lot of intricate detail, just because I'm gonna run it once and then back to me again, just to make sure that it has cut beautifully, but also that all those bits are gonna come off very easily. And there you can see all those lines. That means that it has cut just perfectly. So when I take away my die, look how beautifully it has cut. And sometimes the low tack tape rips a little bit of the card, but that's because the tape was too tacky. So always remember to use the back of your hand to remove some of that tackiness. So you can see all that beautiful lace work in there. Now I'm going to leave this one plain, just so you see that you can have it both ways. You can have it plain, all sides plain. You can choose one window, two windows. It's up to you. You can also, because it's two sides, you could do one side one color, or three sides one color, and the other three sides another color. It's up to you. That's the beauty of die cutting. You can create as many personalized boxes as you wish. Because dies of the quality of Tonic, they will last you a long time, as long as you take care of them by having them. I like to keep mine on a magnetic mat. So see, I just put double-sided adhesive. You can use glue as well, which I would prefer it because it's faster. It's a stronger bond, but double-sided tape allows me to do it a slightly faster for this demo. And then I like to put them in the center and then fold them in half and line them up like this perfectly. So I'm going to start with the base, and you want to have like a one up, one down sort of thing. So that's the first time you do it. It takes a little getting used to it. So that one goes up, that one goes down, that one goes up, and then the last one is the trickiest one of them all. But I love the fact that this box only needs 2 little bits of glue. Now the top, what you need to do is start. You see those little notches? The little notch here, go in there, and then the next one like so, and the next one, and then the next one, and then finally the sixth and final one. And there you have it. You can have it plain like I have in this side with all the decorative windows. You can cut all the beautiful patterns and in their solid window as you wish. I hope it was helpful. To use the Christmas header fold dies, you want to start with a piece of card that is at least 5.5 inches wide. If you want it to fit in an A2 envelope, you want it to make it 6 3/4 in length. So what we are going to do is I'm going to take the mistletoe die, and what I'm going to do is you can see that it comes in two parts. So the first part that you want to have is not so much the decorative with all the elements, but the more solid one. What you want to see is that if I put it on top of the paper, now we are not measuring anything rather than the distance between the paper, edge of the paper or card, it has to be card, and the edge of the die. So it's about 1/4 inch. If it was any wider, you would have to more or less measure it up, that it would have to be longer. What it is important is because I'm going to use my Tonic trimmer to score my card, and I only want to score that 1/4 inch top and bottom. So my card is 6 3/4, so I need to score it at 3 3/8. So 1, 2, and 3. There it is. So I flush my card to the top of that lip there, and I score it, as I said, about, I would say about between a 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch. If you want to do it more accurate, you could always place the die in here and use that as a guide. See, I only did it at the top and at the bottom. Now I take it out of the trimmer, and now with this die you can see that it has got 2 little notches at either end. That's where you want to place it on top of that scoring line that we just have created. If you like to measure, by all means do that. Now, if to make it sure that it's centered, I do everything by eye, but I like to make sure by eye is leveled, center, and then I use low tack tape to secure it in place. Now I place my die with the card, placing a bit on top of the orange cutting plate and the white plate on top. You can use this die or any die cutting machine that will take wafer thin dies, which is what Tonic dies are, as long as they are about 5.5 inches wide, so it allows you to put the width of the card. So it has, look at it, it's lifted up, and now you can see that if I folded it, there it is. Now I'm going to put the 2 parts it dies, allows you to just leave it as it is because it has got that beautiful holly and little fern in there. Or if you want to add more detail, you use the second part, the one that has got the bow, and then place it over. And I like to leave, you can create a bigger gap or a smaller gap depending on how you like it. I do it every time a slightly different, and depending on my mood. But that's the beauty of die cutting, you can choose whatever suits you in that moment. Just make sure, there it is. Place my top plate and run it through the tangerine. And smoothly goes, and when I get it out, you will be able to see how beautiful it has cut all the bits. Now I'm just gonna use my poke tool or paper piercer to just make sure that all those bits fall off nicely. And you can use, I like to use sometimes a lint roller for clothes to remove all those bits, but it's not needed when you have. So look at that, how cool is that? Now I want just to show you, there is another design which is the entangle holly as well. So you can create those little designs, or you can use as well the bottom part on the top, at the top bottom side of the panel, and then use it on the bottom as well. I hope that was helpful.